At the Ticket Mill location on 1040 O Street to get your go-to drink or try out our new game day drinks exclusive to the Ticket Mill location. We know it'll make your day a million times better. Discover the difference that expertise and experience can make in your real estate journey with Next Ag Appraisal and Realty. Whether you need an appraisal, sales, or farm management, Next Ag comes up with a solution with your legacy and goals in mind. Next Ag isn't just their name, it's your future. So why wait? Visit their website today at www.nextagrealestate.com or give them a call at 402-380-0432 and turn your dreams into reality. Your land, your legacy, their solution. Next Ag Appraisal and Realty.
This is Rick Heyman from Sartor Heyman Jewelers, inviting you to our new outlet jewelry store at 12th and O in downtown Lincoln. Amazingly, we still have fabulous items we bought 1 year ago and beyond. Well, you know what an outlet store is. Unbeatable prices throughout the store. Closeouts up to 70% off. Don't delay. When it's gone, it's gone. You won't see everything on our website, so you gotta come in. The Outlet by Sartor Heyman, where luxury and affordability meet. Opening November 25th in Lincoln at 12th and O.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Your Lincoln forecast for today, expecting a little patchy fog early this morning. Otherwise, partly sunny skies are expected throughout the day. We'll see a high of around 50. Tonight, a chance of sprinkles possible early, then partly cloudy skies with a low around 31. Tomorrow, see mainly sunny skies and a high of around 45. I'm meteorologist Kyle Tucker from 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
This is On the Block with Strick and Austin. Nebraska Basketball Hall of Famer and 9-year NBA vet, Erick Strickland.
Strickland for three! And you're going to go out of here as the Big 8 tournament champion.
Middle school basketball coaching legend and Duke basketball shooting coach in his mind, Austin Orman. Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. On air and online at theticketfm.com. Brought to you by Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul. This is On the Block. Strick and Austin.
Welcome to it on a Monday. Glad you're along for the ride with us here for the next 2 hours. I'm Austin Norman. Seated to my left is the Husker Hall of Famer, the 9-year NBA vet, Mr. Erick Strickland. Stricky, I feel like I saw you all weekend. It was great.
Yeah, we got to hang out, man. We got to listen. It would have been more joyous. You know, we had great view. We had great conversation. We had great post game. Mm-hmm. I hate that you had to walk in the snow though, but you're used
cold.
to it.
It wasn't
it
cold.
Wasn't too bad for you.
No.
But we did get a little. We got a little a downpour of snow. Is it a downpour? What is it called?
It was more than a flurry.
Yeah.
But I feel like a downpour is like a hard rain.
Yeah.
An outpouring of snow?
No, I don't know. What do you call it? 402-464-5685. What do you call it when the snow is thick? It's very fluffy, but it's not sticking. You know, so it's not. I don't know. I don't even know what you call it. But anyway, we got to watch something last night that I don't feel like in my mind that it's troubling to where it's it's something that could be continuous. Mm-hmm. You know, I really do look at it from a standpoint of chalking it up. If I was in that locker room and I was the head of that locker room, I was a captain in that locker room, I was a voice in that locker room, I would say, hey, look, bro, let's it's okay. We just had a bad night. This happens. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? It's one of those things that you have to be able to blow it off. It's one of the hardest things I had to learn. And this is why I think baseball was so good to me, Austin. But before we get into that quick discussion, let's let everybody know how and why we're here. And that is because of
Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul.
Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul, 27th and Pine Lake. Not able to get out there today or tomorrow, but on Wednesday, if you decide you want to go out there, you're welcome to do so. We're working on a few things with them that in the near future, keep your ears open. It may have a similar sighting to them being down here like Heavenly Waffles. We're still talking about some things we don't know yet, but we'll see. But we love them dearly. We also love when guys like Brian Munson is going to pop up on the Allo VIP line where VIP line is brought to you by Aloe Fiber, where they understand the importance of exceptional service with local heart. We're grateful for them and their service. And the Sutter Heyman text line, where you guys tap in all the time and let us know how you feel and how you think about it. We're grateful for it. But now, this is why baseball was so valuable to me, Austin, in why I think I played it. I always used every sport that I played as something to use in life, in some form of an application.
Not just in another sport,
Not just
but in
the
life.
sport. Not just the sport, but how I can apply it. I think this is why basketball ultimately became the choice for me, because I could look at each sport that I was playing and glean something from it. Out of football, the physicality part of it, the ability to read formations and the ability to understand what someone's trying to do or what I need to do based on what they're trying to do to me, right? That's some of the things that I got, but definitely the physicality aspect. Then basketball, I felt, was a culmination of all of them. Baseball, I think, gave me the cerebral part of the game, the strategic part of the game. Every situation is a different situation depending on where the ball went, how it was hit. Was it short? Was it in the gap? Was it down the line? Who's on first? There's all these different games that you have to play in your head depending on what the scenario is. But last and importantly was this one. You're going to bat somewhat, probably 4-5 times at most. You're good. You're great if out of 10 times you step up to the plate, you're hitting 3 of them. That means you failed 7 other times. That's why I was able to take also to the basketball realm. This is why I'm talking about Nebraska. I'm saying this is what I would have had a conversation with him. Bro, I played baseball. I stepped up to the plate. I may have struck out. I may have popped out. I may have lined out. But 7 of those times I failed. That means I've got to come back and do it all over again the next time with the belief that I'm going to put something in play somewhere the next time. And it's the same thing with shooting. They shot bad last night. They got outworked last night. These are correctable things. These are things that just sometimes happens in any team or organization.
Absolutely. That all sounds like Monday motivation to me. So if that's what's getting you through, right, step up to the plate, take that next challenge. And that's what Nebraska has to do, Strake. It was the first big test of the season for the Cornhuskers men's basketball team. I'm with you. I don't think Nebraska is as outmatched against an upper echelon team as they showed last night, but they have to prove that this is the outlier. Right now it is.
Yeah.
It's the toughest game on the schedule so far. It didn't go well. But to your point, everything's correctable. Nebraska can set better screens. Nebraska can play harder. Nebraska, even if they don't, necessarily play harder, set better screens, they still got open looks.
Yeah.
And they didn't knock them down.
Yeah.
Now, can you get them to different guys? Get the right guys in the right spots at the right time. You can always tweak and tinker, but hey, now you've gotten punched in the face, right? You're on the ropes a little bit right now. You're not bruised. You're not bleeding too bad just yet, but your hands are up in front of your face. You took a body blow. Okay, get off the ropes. You can't stay there.
Yeah.
That's the soft way out. Nebraska's got to find a way to bounce back against Minnesota. And I think the easiest way is just that attention to detail, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. And that's an applicable thing, especially when you go on the road, right? When you go on the road, it just takes out a lot of sometimes distractions. You don't have girlfriends around. You don't have buddies talking about, hey, let's go down to O Street. You don't have you may have homework, but I would say there's probably finals and stuff going on. There's just distractions sometimes when you're at home, right? Going on the road, it kind of hones you in. It can kind of create a laser focus. Everybody's already against you. So you're able to just kind of focus on the task and the assignments at hand. But there's some things that they definitely need to correct. It was a lot of standing around. It was a lot of the spacing was not good last
and those two things go together.
Yes, it was unbelievable. Like, I'm watching them in their spacing and I'm like, what? Like, what happened? Like, they didn't have a problem with this. And I don't know if it was the magnitude of the game. It could have been. That was probably the first time that a lot of those guys have seen an arena with that type of energy in it. There was a lot of energy in that building. But I would also say one of the things I didn't see was communication. When you see two guys going to the ball, when you see, certain things occurring in rotations, then that tells me that there's no talk. There's no communication. And they had been doing that very well. It looked to be operating on a string, and it just didn't happen for them last night.
I think some people would laugh. You said you didn't see communication. But why didn't you hear it? That building was loud. There was energy. Even when Nebraska was struggling, you could sense that the crowd wanted to will Nebraska back into that game. It just never happened.
Yeah.
The spacing is a part of it. I think also Nebraska's guard strict. Even Alec on a couple drives. Did it seem to you like they almost got one dribble too deep sometimes, and it kind of shrunk the court because there are more arms in passing lanes? Whereas if they make that pass one step sooner, that ball can get rolling a little bit.
Yeah, I thought that they didn't. Well, that's what I'm talking about for spacing, right? Here's what I mean. I thought in those penetrations, you're right. I thought some of them, they probably got a little bit too deep. But I would also say they didn't know where they were going with the ball. This was the unique contrast that I saw between Creighton and them. Creighton on drives, even when they got caught off balance in the air, they knew where their guys were. I mean, I can tell you a specific instance where Alexander jumps in the air, gets caught, but knew he had a guy at the wing, and he throws it back across the grain to a wide open shooter who knocks down a three. Right? That's knowing where you're got. Now, listen, this is why I'm not going to knock Nebraska, because these Creighton, there's one thing you can say about Creighton. There's a consistency of what they do. You know what they're going to do. Those guys came out shooting with confidence, shot with range. And once Shireman got it going, and I think it's Ashworth, he started them off. They had a little confidence that continued to propel them on to a 52-37 halftime score.
Right. And that range, I think, is something Nebraska hadn't seen, where Creighton wasn't just, a step behind the line. These were darn near 30-footers, like past NBA range, some of them. Nebraska won't see a whole lot more of that this year, but Creighton does that. So you would like to see that adjustment made. And you and I talked about that play specifically with Alexander. He kicked it out to Shireman in that first half. Creighton didn't do anything tremendously special, right? They stuck to their principles. They drove, they kicked, and they were in the right spot. And this is why I don't want to put too much of last night on coaching. I don't think Fred Hoiberg and the staff coached the guys to stand around. I don't think they coached them out to be in the right spot. I hope it's not the magnitude of the moment. I hope it's just a collective brain fart. It's out of their system, because for a veteran team that's been around the block, even if it is the biggest environment they've played in, if the moment was too big for them, that is something that can carry over into Big Ten play, and that would worry me.
That would be, and that's the thing to keep an eye on. This is why I think this next stretch, these next 3 to 4 games are going to be very, you want to have an acute awareness of what you just said, of things like that, because you want to be able to have an idea of what you're going to have when the moment gets big. Who's going to be able to step up? Who's going to take the challenge? Again, one
offensively and defensively.
Yes, as a whole, right? The one thing you can say for sure is Tominaga is not one of them. He's up for it. You know what I'm saying? You can tell by the energy and the enthusiasm he brought. You can tell that, probably the level was next level for Alec. As far as the speed, the size, the physicality.
I doubt anyone's ever played that far off of him like Kalkbrenner did either, so I don't know if he knew how to handle that.
Listen. I've played in games, Austin. This is the guy that you never wanted to be. You never wanted to be like Andre Miller. Like, Andre Miller was a tremendous post. Like, in our day, because of the fact of, posting point guards and stuff and his point guard play, guys like Eric Snow, right? They knew how to use him, how to play him, and what to do with him. To guys like Avery Johnson, where literally guys would not guard you.
Andre Roberson.
You know what I'm saying? Like, they would not guard you out to 3. They would be like, oh, well, if you're going to shoot that, you're going to shoot that. We live it. You know what I'm saying?
Be my guest.
I never wanted to be that guy, because I'm going to tell you, there's nothing I would much rather shoot with a guy flying at me, challenging me, coming at me than a guy to stand there and do like I think what Nurkic, I think it was Nurkic. What they did to who was that? Oh, it was just recent. It was a game in the NBA where he literally just turned his back and was like, shoot.
You gave him kind of one of those and turned his back.
Yeah. Shoot. And he was butt naked.
Mm-hmm.
That is a harder shot to do because you're like, it gets in the psyche, right?
Mm-hmm.
I always hated guys, but so I said, I'm going to knock down such a high clip that if you leave me open, you're going to pay for it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what you didn't want to do. But that's kind of how they treated Alec.
Mm-hmm.
They kind of treated him like, we going to live with whatever you're doing. We're not going to let Mass do that because they were flying at him.
Mm-hmm.
But Alec, have at it, my boy.
And Mass took a couple off of movement that I think he had to take, but I don't think are the shots that Nebraska wants to get him moving forward. On Josiah Alec, I assume Nebraska is going to see something similar against Purdue.
That's a fact.
I think Edey guards Alec.
That's a fact.
Strick.
Until they correct it.
Right. In the context of Nebraska's offense, what's that line of confidence for Josiah Alec to be able to still step into those shots? But also, if he's not going to shoot it, again, in the context of the offense, what's the right play for Josiah Alec to make?
Okay. You need to be in the lab. I mean, it's got to be to where you can at least knock down 6 out of 10 open.
Mm-hmm.
Like
mm-hmm.
that for me at the college 3, it would be 8 for 10.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Wide open in the gym. No one.
If I'm shooting 5 spots wide open in the gym, if I'm at 5 spots, I need to hit 8 out of 10 of these.
Mm-hmm.
So like I can hit 10 in the corner, I can hit 6 in another spot, 5, another 10, as long as it averages out to 8,
mm-hmm.
right? Alec needs to at least be able to knock down 6 out of 10. Open,
mm-hmm.
wide open, nobody guard him. Now, if Alec gets the ball in space, if not out to 3, I would prefer him to get it at the wing or at the short corner. Here's why. Because now if I run some action with a shooter, Bryce, with Williams, with Tamanaga, and I don't get it on that wing where they normally do it at the high mark, hit Alec, don't shoot. Now you have an Edey off with a handoff coming to that short corner with a roll. If Edey doesn't come out, I'm mid-ranging you to death. If Edey comes out, I'm dropping. And if rotation comes, I'm flying weak side on a skip.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Fred, I don't know, but if I was coaching, that's something I'd be lining up. Because if that's how they're going to play me, I need to have an adjustment for that. But it has to be something like that, because a guy on a continuous come off with a feed to him, with a dribble handoff, or with a pass to a pick, that guy's not going to be able to get there.
Mm-hmm.
If he goes under, I'm popping him in the head. If he goes under at the 3, I'm knocking it down if I'm a shooter. If not, I'm turning the corner and I'm finding corner guy, Skip, or Alec for the dump off for the dunk. That's some action I would roll.
What you're saying is there are plenty of options, that it's not just hoping that he knocks those shots down, that there's plenty of ways to go about this. Before we hit our break, there's one other position I want to talk to you about. Nick brought this up. A couple people on the text line did as well. The point guard position for Nebraska.
Yeah.
I think Jamarcus Lawrence's growth as a point guard, he's fine. He wasn't the problem last night necessarily.
Shooting.
Dude can't buy a bucket.
Shooting. 20%
from 3, only 2/3 of the free throw line, and 32% from the field. He's missed a handful of layups. To you, Strick, is that he's in his head about playing the point guard position? He doesn't feel free.
Overthinking.
And so, if that's the case, do you draw up more plays for him as a starter, or do you move him to the bench to back up Keisei Tominaga, where he can be the scoring guy off the bench?
I would take the pressure off of him, because I can see that Tominaga runs the point in pick and roll better than probably anybody outside of Boogie.
Bryce Williams handles the non-pick and roll action.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I think Boogie's the only other one that handles, but I still think that Boogie is a liability out there, especially defensively.
Yeah.
He looks like he is an elderly statesman out there. Like, knees are bad, doesn't squat down very well. Still kind of questionable in shooting. I like his creativity of getting to the basket and being able to hit floaters and sometimes middies. But other than that, that's going to be a struggle for them. But I would prefer if you went maybe Tamanaga, Bryce, Jawan Gary, and then the other three. And then take Alec out, leave Jawan, because Jawan, I think, is more dangerous. He just had a bad night last night, but I think he's still more dangerous at the 4 if they're going to try to play small and they're going to try to throw like an Edie on. So that's going to force them to put Edie on mass,
which
with
like.
Jawan Gary, which I like. Yeah,
you absolutely do. Again, I'm with you. Jawan Gary had an off night. You and I have both said all year the shot looks better.
Yeah,
from Jawan Gary. The posture's better. The follow through's better. Got to the It was a long layup or a really short mid-range jumper for his first points in transition, and then settled for some threes, but they were open. Those are the shots I think Jawan Gary's going to get. If you're Nebraska, you hope he hits them. Is there any thought of keeping Jawan Gary's energy in a bench role and moving CJ Wilcher into the starting lineup, or do you like everything that Gary gives you, being able to guard 1 through 4 with the stretch capability and the energy in the starting lineup potentially?
Well, I think my issue more so is they have a balance of liability issues.
Sure.
I still think Tamanaga is a liability issue. I think at the point, it's not as bad. I think you can mask it a little bit. But obviously, you want somebody that's a little more hound defender, and this is why I think you have Jamarcus there, because he can hound you. Bryce is solid. I think you want to make sure you don't have too many defensive liabilities to start a game. The reason being is if you have too many defensive liabilities to start a game, you can end up getting ran on, a run put on you. And then now where are you going to find the defensive intensity to lock that down? I think also if you start CJ Wilcher, you might have some rebounding, because between him and Tamanaga, they do a lot of watching. Shots go up and they do this. Oh, hey, we need some milk.
No, you need some rebounds, guys.
Right. They do a lot of standing and watching. So, Gary doesn't do that. I think Jamarcus puts his head in there some, and the other guys do as well. So that's why I think there's an issue.
Good stuff on Nebraska Creighton from the Husker Hall of Famer. Might get back to it on Teach Tape Tuesday, but if nothing else, we're moved on. Minnesota on Wednesday. That's the next opportunity for this team. Their first real true road game of the year up at the barn in Minneapolis. We'll see how the team handles that. We're going to take a break. A lot of college football here coming up. We'll talk some transfer portal next. A lot of guys from Ohio State in the portal.
Crazy.
And then college football playoff hour 2. Brian Munson, like Stricky alluded to, at 3:30. Don't go anywhere. This is On the Block, brought to you by Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul, here and only here on 93.7 The Ticket.
At Southeast Community College, community is our middle name. Our continuing education classes offer personal interest, traffic safety and licensing, online learning, and adult education classes across Southeast Nebraska, or online in your own home. Learn to ride a motorcycle, how to start a small business, how to dance, or take a course to advance in your current career path. See the full schedule of continuing education classes online at southeast.edu/continuing. SCC, your path to possible.
You're counting on your team to win, so why not prove it? At Warhorse Sportsbook, their win is your win. Put your money where your mouth is on nearly every sporting event. Use the Warhorse app to check odds and build your bets before placing your wagers in person at Warhorse Casino in Lincoln or Horseman's Park in Omaha, including live in-game betting. No bets, no glory. Wagers may only be placed on Nebraska-based teams when played outside the state of Nebraska. Must be 21 or older to gamble. Gambling problem? Call 1-833-BET-OVER.
Ready to make this season unforgettable? Celebrate with Liberty First Credit Union's low-rate debt consolidation loan. Combine all those bills into one affordable monthly payment with quick access to funds. Imagine all the extra cash for holiday shopping sprees, festive parties, or that well-deserved vacation. Stop by any of their branches or visit libertyfirstcu.com to find out more about their low-rate debt consolidation loan. Make this holiday season one to remember and celebrate with Liberty First Credit Union, banking with purpose.
Hey, it's Chad with the Nutrition Authority, inviting you to stop in and check out the all-new complete post-workout recovery, CPR. CPR is ideal for anyone who works out or competes and wants to maximize results. CPR can only be found at Nutrition Authority. Stop in today and try a free sample or visit us at mynutritionauthority.com.
Landmark Implement, your local John Deere dealer, invites you to attend our upcoming Parts and Service Expo events. It's the best time to buy parts all year. Take advantage of specials December 6th through the 15th with additional savings the day of your local expo. Find savings on oil and filters, gifts for under the tree, and most pre-ordered John Deere parts. Visit with our trained and certified technicians and sign up for our service specials. Don't miss out. It only comes around once a year at your local Landmark Implement. Visit landmarkimp.com/events for a complete schedule of our expo events and experience the Landmark difference.
Rico here with HIS Auto Care at 70th and Van Dorn, letting you know HIS is a great place to bring your vehicle for service. With superior service bumper to bumper, we'll treat your vehicle like it's your mother's. Doesn't get any better than that. So call 402-488-8934 and HIS Auto will make you glad you did. 5% off, mention this ad, and for sure your mother will be proud you called. 402-488-8934, HIS Auto Care, 70th and Van Dorn. God bless you.
Is your backyard ready for fun with friends and family this fall? GE Landscape Supply has pavers and boulders, which are a great accent for any landscaping project. And you can find them at 6701 Cornhusker Highway. GE Landscape Supply sells to homeowners and contractors with a vast selection of landscaping and construction materials. And don't forget, they deliver anywhere, nearby or far away. Stop by at 6701 Cornhusker Highway from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday to Friday. Go to gelandscapesupply.com for more info or call 402-467-1627. Your Christmas list changes a lot as you get older. Dreams of video games, remote control cars, and baseball gloves turn into dreams of shoes. You know, practical things. Brown Shoe Fit is the king of shoes in Lincoln, with brands like Sorel, Ugg, Brooks, Hoka, and more to make you fashionable and comfortable. Grab a new Ridge wallet or buy 3, get 1 free on smart wool socks for the ultimate stocking stuffer. And don't forget a reliable gift card for that hard-to-buy person in your life. Brown Shoe Fit at 66th and Q in Lincoln.
Okay, it's time to sell the house. How do we even begin to choose from the hundreds of realtors in town?
Easy. We make a pros list.
You mean a pros and cons list?
No, just a pros list. We need someone with pro photography to showcase the house in the best possible way, pro marketing to make sure we get maximum exposure, pro negotiations so we know we get the best price.
This is one of those times where you already know the right answer, isn't it?
You know it is. Ben Bleicher and Professional Realty Group.
Contact Ben Bleicher and the team at Professional Realty Group of Berkshire Hathaway's Home Services Ambassador. Online at prg-ne.com. If you're not going to Memorial Stadium for a home game and don't have any travel plans for away games, there's a great place in Omaha to catch the action, the Inner Rail Food Hall. There's plenty of space. The Backstretch Bar has amazing game specials on game days. $15 Blue Moon and Bud Light pitchers, $6 margaritas, and $6 Moscow mules. And if you're hungry, take in some of their great options from their game day pizza specials. Do football game day right in the Inner Rail Food Hall in Exarban Village in Omaha. Discover the difference that expertise and experience can make in your real estate journey with Next Ag Appraisal and Realty. Whether you need an appraisal, sales, or farm management, Next Ag comes up with a solution with your legacy and goals in mind. Next Ag isn't just their name, it's your future. So why wait? Visit their website today at www.nextagrealestate.com or give them a call at 402-380-0432 and turn your dreams into reality. Your land, your legacy, their solution. Next Ag Appraisal and Realty.
This year, give the gift of delicious food, incredible service, and a lasting memory with the Pillar Restaurant Group gift card. When you purchase a $50 gift card, you receive a $5 bonus card, or purchase a $100 gift card to receive a $20 bonus card. These cards can be used at all Pillar Restaurant Group locations, including Venue Restaurant and Lounge, Piedmont Bistro, The Butchery, The Bakery, and all Lincoln Good Sense Deli Fresh Subs locations. Available for purchase at any of our concepts or online at prgnebraska.com.
Now back to On the Block with Strick and Austin on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Back on the block, segment 2, hour 1. Austin Norman and Erick Strickland with you 2 to 4 weekdays. Brought to you by Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul. Our Starter Heyman text line is going nuts. 402-464-5685. Those are the numbers that you can text there to get into the show. A lot of the conversation right now is on the college football playoff, what happened there. We will get into that in hour number 2. I'm not going to click on those texts. I'm going to leave them there so we can go through them when the time is right. But before we get there, Strick, let's turn our attention to the transfer portal. Let's start with this number, 891.
Wow.
Number of players,
total,
according to On3, in the transfer portal for this cycle. 8 are committed already. That is less than 1% of all the players that have entered the transfer portal that, again, we're, 12, 14 hours into this. Not shocking that a lot of them don't have homes yet, or landing spots for their, college eligibility yet. But 891, and we're like 14 hours in to this deal. We knew it was getting bigger. We knew the transfer portal was growing faster. It's not slowing down anytime, but Strick, 2 of them are from Nebraska. That's it.
Yeah.
John Goodwin, who didn't play a whole lot, and then Jake Applegate, who didn't see the field. What do you think that says about Nebraska football as a program that, despite not having a winning record in 8 years now, only 2 guys off of this team have entered the transfer portal so far?
It's impressive, and you can obviously see the contrast. I don't have it right in front of me. Some of you might know this specific in numbers, but I can tell you that those numbers were significantly more with Frost. So to me, what that tells me is messaging is good. What that tells me is feel in the locker room is good, confident in staffing and who you're working with in your room. You could tell that there was a management of the expectations, probably expecting more out of you, but letting you kind of like it's like this. When you've seen and you've been through, it doesn't matter in whatever you have. It could be work environment. It could be at your job. It can be in government. It can be whatever it is, right? When you've had just a losing mentality, you've lost. You can't seem to get over the hump. You stay in the red. You can't get out. When you're dealing with stuff like that, a lot of times there's a turnover, whether it be a CEO, a new management, whatever the case may be. There's some form of turnover because the job is not getting done.
And in Nebraska's case, the turnover is usually fumbles. Oh, sorry, different kind of
different
turnover.
job, different type of turnover. We're not talking about Apple turnovers either. So you understand what I'm saying. Then what ends up happening is the messaging has to come. And sometimes there's going to be people that are going to stay, but they're only staying because of the perks. But when the work gets too hard, when you've got to change your attire, you can no longer come in flip-flops and shorts. Some people are going to leave, right? But if the messaging is good, you're willing to make the change. You feeling me?
I do.
You're willing to make the change, and I think that's what's going on in the locker room and with these young men, and why Ty Robinson and the likes of them return is because they're embracing the change. Just didn't see the results that normally take time to come with a change. But I think the messaging as well is, I'm going to go out here and get a quarterback for you. I'm going to still let you fight for the position, but I'm going. And I think he's being honest with the team as a whole collectively. And I think their individual groups are also relaying the message that is coming from Coach Rule, which is allowing them to have a good feeling about where they are.
You've been a professional. It's one thing to trust a coach and take him for his word. When you're a professional, he's a professional. Both have jobs to do. Is it any different for a college player where you're still growing as a young man to be able to trust the word of your coach and buy into a message that he's telling you?
Say it again.
So as a college player, right, you're still maturing, still growing, still trying to figure out who you are. It's probably harder to buy into that vision, right? When you're a pro, you've seen the vision. You have your own career in your hands. But right now, as a college student, you're really trusting this staff with your development and what your goals are. What's that process of trusting, believing in, and sticking to the message look like for a kid on Nebraska's roster who's not transferring?
Well, this may sound cliche, but some think about grass is greener. What's the cliche
on the other
word?
Side?
On the other side. That's not always the case. Sometimes being in a system, sometimes the fit for the scheme. Now, if the scheme doesn't fit you, then I can understand moving. I can understand if a few receivers left. You know what I'm saying? But this is what I'm saying. The messaging has to be. I'm saying that he has to be in that room, in that receiver's room, saying, you know what? I'm going to get somebody to get this ball to you.
Mm-hmm.
And they believe it, because I think he's held true and he's stayed true to his word on other things. Because when I first saw him come in, I'm like, are we hearing coach speak? We've heard this before. Is he going to be authentic and real about it? Or is he just going to be talking? And I think in a lot of his pressers, he's been honest. I think he's just been upfront. He's been honest with where they are. He hasn't tried to sugarcoat anything, taking issue or responsibility, didn't necessarily throw people on the bus. You know what I mean? So I think you can keep a room like that. And I think that's why the messaging is clear, because I would have thought more in the receiver room. If I'm a receiver and I like to catch balls, I'm trying to catch balls. You know what I'm saying? This ain't old Nebraska where we're just, running out and blocking all day. No, this is a balanced style of offense. So yeah.
Let's look at Ohio State really quick here, Strick, on the other side of things. The Buckeyes have 13 players in the transfer portal already. 2 of them are starters. Julian Fleming, wide receiver, best player in Pennsylvania in his class. I think number 3 wide receiver overall. Ohio State, Brian Hartline, get a lot of good receivers, but his quarterback also jumping in the transfer portal, Kyle McCord. A lot of blame put on Kyle McCord's shoulders for, not being CJ Stroud and Justin Fields and Cardale Jones and JT Barrett and all those guys before him. But 11 other guys transfer out. Do you think they know they can play at the Division I level, so since they were backups, they just want snaps somewhere else? Or do you think there may be some cracks starting to show in Ohio State now that they're 0 for their last 3 against Michigan? Is this roster kind of skeptical about Ryan Day and being able to play for a championship?
That would be a question I would love to be a fly sitting on the wall in some of those rooms when those conversations are going down, right? Because they're in exit meetings or pre-exit meetings or before transfer, because most people are going to probably want to transfer before bowl game, because you don't want to be late to the party and moves are being made, and then your options to where you may want to go, gets ousted because they're still recruiting. They're still snatching people, and getting signatures. Well, signing days are over, but you know what I'm saying? They're still getting commitments and stuff like that. So you don't want to be late to the party. So I would assume that my biggest question would be who's going to replace Fleming, not Fleming, but who's going to replace McCord in the game against Missouri?
Probably Devin Brown. He's been the backup all year, but if it's not Devin Brown, it's Nebraska's own Tristan Gebbia.
There you are. So it's going to be interesting to see just how this all pans out. McCord is definitely a pocket passer style, so I'm sure he's going to be looking to go somewhere like that. Pac-10 options are probably, no bueno for him, just because it's just so much uncertainty.
Of course, sure from Pennsylvania, maybe looks back east somewhere.
Yeah, Pitt. You know how they like to sling it,
right?
Places where there's pocket passer, abilities. Could go down North Carolina, somewhere like that, being that May's out. Somebody's going to want him because he's not bad. I mean, I would love his percentages to be a little bit better. Career 67%. His interception numbers weren't crazy bad. His passer rating is solid. So I think somebody's going to want him. It's just a matter of what's going to be the best fit for him based on this. And look, if you're going to move, better to move now.
Right.
Because there's going to be a overhaul of quarterbacks that are jumping in and going to the next level.
Speaking of an overhaul of quarterbacks, one that didn't go to the next level, entered the transfer portal, found a home in the Big Ten. Cade McNamara ended up at Iowa, and it's that Iowa offense that an indoor golf facility in Iowa had some faith in. It was not rewarded. We'll tell you that story to wrap up hour one of On the Block next.
This is Rick Heyman from Sartor Heyman Jewelers, inviting you to our new outlet jewelry store at 12th and O in downtown Lincoln. Amazingly, we still have fabulous items we bought 1 year ago and beyond. Well, you know what an outlet store is. Unbeatable prices throughout the store. Closeouts up to 70% off. Don't delay. When it's gone, it's gone. You won't see everything on our website, so you gotta come in. The Outlet by Sartor Heyman, where luxury and affordability meet. Opening November 25th in Lincoln at 12th and O.
Action Plumbing, Heating, Air, and Electric is the call I make when I have a need for plumbing services. Whether it's for my home or office, if I need a repair to a water heater, softener, or even my garbage disposal, I know I can count on Action to help. In one simple call, their amazing customer service team promptly schedules a service call, often getting to my needs within a day. Action delivers honest, quality services we can count on. To learn more, visit actionlincoln.com.
Experience can make in your real estate journey with Next Ag Appraisal and Realty. Whether you need an appraisal, sales, or farm management, Next Ag comes up with a solution with your legacy and goals in mind. Next Ag isn't just their name, it's your future. So why wait? Visit their website today at www.nextagrealestate.com or give them a call at 402-380-0432 and turn your dreams into reality. Your land, your legacy, their solutions. Next Ag Appraisal and Realty.
Your home is your empire. Protect it with Empire Fence. Get a free instant quote with the online estimating tool at empire-fence.com. See an upfront estimate with no hidden fees. An Empire Fence can provide privacy and improve the appearance of your home. Keep kids and pets in or out of your yard. Increase security and add value to your property. Visit empire-fence.com now to view the stylish and maintenance-free possibilities for your home and get a free instant online quote. Let Empire Fence protect your empire.
Working at Continental in Lincoln isn't a job, it's a career. And right now, they've raised wages again, and they're hiring for production operators at $24.62 per hour, which grows to $28.97 per hour within 3 years. Skilled trade positions now start at $33.36 per hour, with opportunities to make more based on certifications. Continental also has salary jobs available and great benefits, plus medical and prescription costs at very low premiums. Dental, vision, and life insurance are offered at no premium cost to the associates, with increased bonuses and vacation for new hires. To learn more or apply, go to continentaljobs.com with keyword Lincoln. Come work at Continental today. Rosie's Sports Bar and Grill. Open for lunch and dinner at 10th and P or at 1501 Center Park Road.
Are you looking for some holiday fun? This year, start a new tradition. Make the Nebraska Christmas Lights Show experience an annual event for your family and a cherished memory to look forward to every year. From Black Friday to January 3rd, buckle up and tune into the rhythm of the lights and let the magic of Christmas take over with the show. Now located at Star City Shores, just off of 27th and Highway 2. Buy your tickets for just $20 or $25 per car today at NebraskaChristmasLightShow.com.
My dream was to work in commercial banking, but it required a college degree and I didn't have one. I found out that Doane had classes for adult learners on the Lincoln campus and online. So I earned my bachelor's degree, and 5 months later, I landed my dream job. I decided to continue my education, and now I'm working on my MBA at Doane. For me, the Doane experience has been life-changing.
The captain, Vershawn Jackson.
What if that happened to Nebraska? What do you think would be going on right now? If somehow, some way, miraculously, Matt Rule and company went undefeated, and because we lost our starting quarterback, you forgot about the entire 100 and how many ever guys, as if it only took the quarterback to get Florida State undefeated. NCAA, make it make sense. Committee, make it make sense. There's no rhyme or reason to your selection.
Where will your path take you, traveler? To seek fortune in a new career, or on a journey to distant lands for a well-deserved vacation? Wherever you go, one distraction could spell disaster. You can change your fate, adventurer. Don't drive distracted. Paid for by the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
At Jimmy John's, we don't make sandwiches. We make the sandwich of sandwiches. We use fresh veggies because we don't hate salads. We just feel bad for them. We make our sandwiches exactly how you want because you're the one who's eating it. And we bake bread all day, every day because stale bread isn't bread. It's croutons. Sandwich history is written by the victors. Good thing we have legible handwriting. Jimmy John's, the sandwich of sandwiches. Order pickup or delivery on the app.
What a day. I could sure use an afternoon pick-me-up. Hold up. The new 93.7 The Ticket location has a milk, coffee, and tea inside? Oh, yeah. This is a game changer.
Need an afternoon pick-me-up? How about a coffee or smoothie on your way to work? Stop by the Ticket Mill location on 1040 O Street to get your go-to drink or try out our new game day drinks exclusive to the Ticket Mill location. We know it'll make your day a million times better.
Ready to make this season unforgettable? Celebrate with Liberty First Credit Union's low-rate debt consolidation loan. Combine all those bills into one affordable monthly payment with quick access to funds. Imagine all the extra cash for holiday shopping sprees, festive parties, or that well-deserved vacation. Stop by any of their branches or visit libertyfirstcu.com to find out more about their low-rate debt consolidation loan. Make this holiday season one to remember and celebrate with Liberty First Credit Union, banking with purpose.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
Your Lincoln forecast for today, expecting a little patchy fog early this morning. Otherwise, partly sunny skies are expected throughout the day. We'll see a high of around 50. Tonight, a chance of sprinkles possible early, then partly cloudy skies with a low around 31. Tomorrow, see mainly sunny skies and a high of around 45. I'm meteorologist Kyle Tucker from 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Now back to On the Block with Strick and Austin on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
We're jamming out here, ending out hour one of On the Block here on a beautiful, it's beautiful even though it's gray, Monday here at 11th and O Streets. Make sure you stop by, say hi to us, say hi to the mill, and we do have to shout out Delco Dave. He brought in his famous Philly cheesesteaks for us today for lunch. Big shout out to Delco Dave's for really just coming through. He brings food in on Monday for us. It's the Philly cheesesteaks. It's on, I believe, 12th and O, and then SoCal tacos as well. The tri-tip tacos, not something else that you can get anywhere in Lincoln. So make sure you check out Delco Dave's here in Lincoln. Really appreciate Dave for bringing food in for us. I mentioned food, Stricky, because the drinks were flowing at X Golf in Cedar Rapids over the weekend. A place called X Golf. We do want to shout out our friends at Double Eagle Golf here in Lincoln, an indoor golf simulator. Check them out just down the road from us out on West O. But the Iowa imitation of Double Eagle is X Golf. And they did a pour until Iowa scores promotion. Oof. So starting at 7 Central, if you booked your indoor simulator bay, from then until the end of your bay time or the end of the game, whichever came first, the beer was free until Iowa scored a point. Strick, do you remember how many points Iowa scored in the Big Ten championship game against Michigan?
If I remember correctly, it was 0.
Stricky, you would be correct on that. Let's just say there was a lot of pouring going on.
Oh, my goodness.
One of the busier nights for this X Golf place up in Cedar Rapids. They didn't give the exact numbers, but they said somewhere between 100 and 200 beers served to their 8 bays. You know, that's what, 12, 13 beers per bay on the low end?
They was
or
lit.
25 beers per bay on the upper end over 3.5 hours of game time.
There was a lot of shanking probably going on. people stumbling out. And Uber was Uber and Lyft was doing their doggone thing down there. Because you drinking free? That's my favorite price. Free 99.
Free 99.
Free 99. But yeah, I'm sure they got hurt definitely that week. I mean,
that was just this weekend.
But we said it though. We said it's like there's no chance. And look, the one chance that they had, which we talked about it here in our conversation in the panel. Mm-hmm. But the one chance they had a turnover. And then they turned it right back over.
Right back over.
They were right there in the sweet spot of an opportunity for them to get a touchdown. Mm-hmm. I think people would have been, because I know there were people making bets for futures, not futures, but for the half. They were saying that they would score, but they needed that to happen. And gosh darn it, they fumbled. Fumblerooski did.
Yet again. But I saw this too from Bill Connolly of ESPN. He did his conference championship write-up. So Iowa's offense, according to Connolly's metric SP+, the offense is 127th out of 133 teams in Division I football. Their defense, number 2, behind only Michigan. Okay, that's a 125 spot difference, which is the biggest difference in Connolly, the biggest spread between the offense and the defense in the 10 years Connolly's been doing this. But there's another team that is shockingly close to Iowa, Strick. I think you know where this is going.
I think I know where it's
this
going.
team has the number 123 out of 133 offense by SP+ in the country, and the number 8 defense So 115 spot difference. Any guesses who that team might be?
I think they may be red and white.
Yeah, I think you're onto something. Do you know, do they wear a letter on their helmets?
I think they have a big N, and they play in a stadium called Memorial.
Yeah, I think they're just right down the block.
Right down
they?
the block.
Yep.
Not on the block, but
right down the block.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Iowa is historically different on offense and defense. Nebraska, not much better in terms of the spread.
Yeah.
Great defense by SP plus. Offense, again, in the bottom, essentially 10%.
So here's the thing that I want to throw out to you, Austin.
Okay.
You ready?
Hit me.
You got rid of Brian Ferentz.
Mm-hmm.
But boy, oh boy, if you're Phil Parker, why would you want to stay? Or do you think it's time to go? Like, now let's just say you're not him, but you can give a perspective. But if it was you, change that around. Sutter Heyman text line, we want to throw that out to you as well. If you're Phil Parker, and if you don't know who Phil Parker is, he is the defensive coordinator for Iowa, and he has been sensational for years. Why do you want to stay, or should you start preparing for a move? Talk to me.
Phil Parker is either incredibly loyal or incredibly misguided. Maybe he thought he's the head coach in waiting. Maybe that's why he stuck around. Maybe it's family related and he likes being in the Midwest. He's happy in Iowa City. Maybe he knows Brian's doing his best and doesn't hold it against him. Maybe he knows Kirk is, just doing Kirk things. Stricky, I don't know. There's no way teams haven't come in and offered him more money, more perks.
Yeah.
And again, no offense to Iowa, who's put a lot of defensive players in the league, but even more raw talent. Iowa has developed their talent. Now they get some good players, some good athletes, don't get me wrong. But are you telling me Iowa's defensive players that they bring in are more talented than USC's, than LSU's?
See, that's where I'm saying. I think, to be honest, I think when you're comfortable and you're successful and you're praised because of what you put out, the product that you put out out there, and it's not your fault ever. So you can literally just, you're the man, you walk around, everybody loves you, but then the expectations probably somewhere else. Like if I'm Lincoln Riley, I'm trying to blow this man up because that's what I'm missing. Right. So I think then it comes to a point where I love the Midwest. I love Big Ten football. My style of defense fits Big Ten football. My success comes because I'm Big Ten West. But if I'm him, if it was me, I'm looking for an exit strategy. Here's why. Because it's not going to get better. As bad as you are, can Iowa's offense make that kind of adjustment? Because if they were just in the middle of the pack, they're pushing, possibly going to
the playoff.
Right? I mean, if the offense is, I'm talking about just middle of the pack. I mean, they don't even have to be great as good as their defense is. Middle of the pack. So my thing is, it's not going to get better. You have Oregon, Washington, UCLA, and USC coming. So at this point, where do you want to reside? Like, I would be looking for upward mobility personally if it was me, because like Lincoln Riley left Oklahoma, I'm looking at where can I go to reestablish this and have a next long tenure. But he's at a point where he may just say, I'm good. Right. His age wise.
Right. Scott on the YouTube stream brought to you by Sutter Heyman Jewelers says Ferentz offense makes Phil Parker's defense better. If that guy was Lincoln Riley's DC, they wouldn't be as good. Yeah, that's probably fair. I think that speaks to exactly what Strick was saying about the scheme and the fit and how the offense and defense work together. But here's the thing. Phil Parker's kind of a genius, so I bet he would find a way to make it work. So that's just my 2 cents on it as well. Let's talk some college football playoff. It's the story of the day. It's got people from coast to coast riled up. Let's talk about it. Let's get into the committee's decisions. Right, wrong, indifferent, defensible, undefensible, indefensible. We'll get into that in hour 2 of On the Block in just a moment.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com.
On the internet.
KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
Gary with Gary Michaels Clothiers Lincoln. As we celebrate our 40th anniversary, which started in Hastings in 1983, I often reflect on the Lincoln men's stores no longer here. They are McGee's, Ben Simons, Landon's, Rothschild, Sir Winston, Post and Nickel, Ragman, Murray's, Miller and Payne, and Joseph A. Bank. You know where I'm coming from. Gary Michaels has been battle-tested, and we are committed to serve Nebraskans as your premier store for men for many years to come. Gary Michaels Clothiers, 56th and Pine Lake Road, Lincoln.
Ever wish you had another light switch on the other side of the room on a dark night? How much better would you sleep at night if you had a ceiling fan in your room? The High Electric Service Department is here to make your electrical what-ifs a reality. Whether you're looking to replace some outdated light fixtures or brighten up your counters with under-cabinet lighting, High Electric can handle all types of residential electrical installations and services. Give Erica a call at 402-466-6606 or visit high-electric.com to get started.
Hey, it's Sean Callahan, and football season is here, and there is one place that has all the games, plus great food and beer specials. Tanner's Bar and Grill at 30th and Yankee Hill. Whether it's Thursday night football, college football Saturdays, NFL Sundays, or Monday night football, there's a great view of the game from any seat with different food and drink specials every night. Try the Blue Ribbon Reuben Sandwich or the Prime Rib French Dip or any of their famous chicken wings. That's Tanner's Bar and Grill at 30th and Yankee Hill.
Your home is your empire. Protect it with Empire Fence. Get a free instant quote with the online estimating tool at empire-fence.com. See an upfront estimate with no hidden fees. An Empire Fence can provide privacy and improve the appearance of your home. Keep kids and pets in or out of your yard. Increase security and add value to your property. Visit empire-fence.com now to view the stylish and maintenance-free possibilities for your home and get a free instant online quote. Let Empire Fence protect your empire.
At Jimmy John's, we don't make sandwiches. We make the sandwich of sandwiches. We use fresh veggies because we don't hate salads. We just feel bad for them. We make our sandwiches exactly how you want because you're the one who's eating it. And we bake bread all day, every day because stale bread isn't bread. It's croutons. Sandwich history is written by the victors. Good thing we have legible handwriting. Jimmy John's, the sandwich of sandwiches. Order pickup or delivery on the app.
Rico here with HIS Auto Care at 70th and Van Dorn, letting you know HIS is a great place to bring your vehicle for service. With superior service, bumper to bumper, we'll treat your vehicle like it's your mother's. It doesn't get any better than that. So call 402-488-8934 and HIS Auto will make you glad you did. 5% off, mention this ad, and for sure your mother will be proud you called. 402-488-8934, HIS Auto Care, 70th and Van Dorn. God bless you.
Integrated Life Choices has been inspiring opportunities for individuals with disabilities for more than 15 years in Lincoln and across Nebraska by offering a number of services. From group homes to independent living resources and job training, you'll find the support that allows people to live fulfilling lives. They're also hiring. If you're looking for a rewarding career supporting people with developmental disabilities, you can check out open positions along with learning more about services at ilc.net. Integrated Life Choices.
Don't be surprised if your kids seem bored when they have some time off from school. I'm Jenny Benson, president of the Nebraska State Education Association. While kids may not miss the confinement of the classroom, they may miss the routine of the school day. Help them add some structure to those free days by planning special projects. Rearrange a bedroom, plan a family meal, increase that batting average, and keep it fun.
Sponsored by the Nebraska State Education Association, aired by the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
At Union Bank, people don't have your money. Your money has people. First home people, investment people, people who answer the phone and your chats, dream car people, dream retirement people, driving your dream car in your dream retirement people, small business people, credit card people, and all the other people you need. At Union Bank, our people help you do more than you dreamed possible. So stop in and say hello. We can't wait to see you. Union Bank and Trust, member FDIC.
Landmark Implement, your local John Deere dealer, invites you to attend our upcoming Parts and Service Expo events. It's the best time to buy parts all year. Take advantage of specials December 6th through the 15th with additional savings the day of your local expo. Find savings on oil and filters, gifts for under the tree, and most pre-ordered John Deere parts. Visit with our trained and certified technicians and sign up for our service specials. Don't miss out. It only comes around once a year at your local Landmark Implement. Visit landmarkimp.com/events for a complete schedule of our expo events and experience the Landmark difference.
Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits is now open in Lincoln. Shop our expansive collection of wine, beer, spirits, and cigars at 5040 North 27th Street. From top shelf liquor to crowd favorite beer, Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits has a beverage for every taste and every budget. Plus, join our loyalty program to earn rewards and save on future purchases. Shop Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits at 5040 North 27th Street in Lincoln. That's 5040 North 27th Street.
Action Plumbing, Heating, Air, and Electric is the call I make when I have a need for plumbing services. Whether it's for my home or office, if I need a repair to a water heater, softener, or even my garbage disposal, I know I can count on Action to help. In one simple call, their amazing customer service team promptly schedules a service call, often getting to my needs within a day. Action delivers honest quality services we can count on. To learn more, visit actionlincoln.com.
Old School with DP and J.
We got a special guest in. We got Jason Peters.
All that's being asked of you is everything. Like, you have to give everything that you have to that program, to that team. If you want to be a champion, that's the only way, right? I mean, you have to commit to every lifting session, every strength and conditioning session, during the summer, during the spring, whatever it may be. It just has to be 100% commitment by everybody.
This is On the Block with Strick and Austin. Nebraska Basketball Hall of Famer and 9-year NBA vet, Erick Strickland.
Strickland for three! And you're going to go out of here as the Big 8 tournament champion.
Middle school basketball coaching legend and Duke basketball shooting coach in his mind, Austin Orman. Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. On air and online at theticketfm.com. Brought to you by Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul. This is On the Block with Strick and Austin.
Hour 2 of the show comes your way. Here it is, On the Block, brought to you by Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul. Make sure you find them down at 29th and Pine Lake here in Lincoln. It'll stick to your ribs. It'll knock you out. Someone made a comment that if Mary Ellen's does indeed come to the ticket, good thing there's a ramp. People need the wheelchair to get out. It will knock you out. And it's so good. You'll want to go back. You won't want to put it down. It makes perfect sense. We're diving into not a play to Mary Ellen's today or tomorrow, but hopefully on Wednesday. But the college football playoff here, Strick. And again, if people have thoughts, 402-464-5685. That's the Starter Heyman text line and the Honda of Lincoln hotline. We also have Scott and Jim looking at us on YouTube. Appreciate you guys watching there and leaving your comments. Let's just ask the simple question here, Strick. Michigan 1, Washington 2, Texas 3, Alabama 4. Did the committee get it right?
I thought so. I mean, that's when we've had this discussion and both on air and off air. And I told you what I wanted. And I said it on the crossover as well. I said, going into a new system. And what I did was I talked about those who are just listening. We thank you guys. All you guys are on the stream. We appreciate you guys for listening in on the block. But most importantly, what I said was, starting back from when the controversies were going on, like I just gave the example of the Michigan-Nebraska splitting. We had a bunch of splits. Somebody felt one way about it. Somebody felt another way. There were a lot of people upset about the championships at different times. And then you create the BCS system. The BCS then kind of went along. There didn't seem to be any problems. And all of a sudden there were some issues. And then people were like, we need to expand. And you started to get different ways in which the BCS system changed, didn't work. Then they go to the college football playoff. Now we're looking to go to 12. A 12-team playoff. I think it's good because what you're starting to find is a lot of players were starting to forego their bowl games. They're looking at the next level. They're just going into training. They don't want to get hurt. Because why? There's nothing really to play for. It's just a bowl game. The beneficiary of those bowl games outside of your NIL that you made for that year is the organization. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. But I'm just saying young men are not thinking about that. So if you have a 12-team playoff, guess what, guys? We got a chance for a natty. So they're going to probably stay a little bit longer, right?
Right.
Skills can be showcased a little bit longer and for purpose, not just for to say I won the Chick-fil-A Bowl or whatever the case may be, right? The Flintstone Bowl. I don't care what it is, whatever bowl it is, right? So, yeah, I look at that game and I said I want controversy because controversy creates energy for what's next to come. 12-team playoff, there's teams like there's no controversy because Tulane got knocked out. Right. Guys like that. There's no controversy because it was laid out by way of wins. Undefeated teams, 12-1 teams, 10-2 teams. That's how the rankings was. And then because Texas beat Alabama, they were ahead of them, and it was going just as normal. But then you come into championship week. You start the pixie dust starts flying over, and the next thing you know, controversy's in the air. And I said, I want Alabama. What happens if Alabama beats Georgia? And everybody was telling me, Strick, there's no way they're going to leave Georgia out. After 29-0, you know what I'm saying? They're SEC. They've been that good. There's no way they're going to leave them out. I said, bro, if Alabama beats them, Alabama's going from A to N. Then I said the next one, Texas needs to blow. This is why Texas came out with that. They was out there on the hunt for, skins. I mean, they was like trying to win.
Were fighting back against the Cowboys.
They was pheasant hunting. They was out there with the guns loaded. You know what I'm saying? They was shooting. And they went after it, beat the brakes off. I said, that's the only way they get in is if they now can change the dynamic if Florida State puts in work on Louisville. But if they don't, Texas is going to pop them. And it worked out just like I say.
It did because Florida State played a close game against Louisville. Texas dominated, and Bama controlled that game. I think the final score was closer than the game actually was.
Shout out to Milroe.
Big shout
out to Milroe because he made a couple plays. He made a couple plays because he went silent. And I'm not talking about Silence of the Lambs, not the movie. He didn't go Anthony Hopkins silent.
Yep.
But he was very quiet and wasn't able to get nothing going. But when it mattered, he was a gamer. And he put it on his back and made that big play. 2 plays he made. That shuffle pass, that
over the middle.
very, very Mahomes-ish. And it came out on a spiral. I'm like, how does a shuffle come out on a spiral like that? But that was huge. And then running for that first down to when the clock still could have worked in Georgia's favor, sealed the day.
It absolutely did. So Michigan ends up as the one. They dominate, control the Iowa game. Washington leads, then comes from behind to end up beating Oregon for the second time this year. It makes sense that those two teams would bump up a seed line. So then you're left with 13-0 conference champion Florida State, 12-1 conference champion in dominating fashion Texas, 12-1 conference champion Alabama, who just knocked off Georgia, who is your number 1 team, and Georgia, who just lost in their championship game despite that. If you're going to keep Georgia in, it would have been Bama 3, Georgia 4. You leave 2 conference champions out. Not going to happen. Texas won big enough to make that jump. And since Bama won, you can't put Bama ahead of Texas. So you're left 1, 2, 3, 4. It sucks for Florida State. It does. They were one of the most deserving teams. Let's not pretend like Alabama playing better over the back half of the season. Again, didn't play well against Auburn, but I wrote Alabama off after that Texas loss, after they struggled with South Florida. And maybe that's why some people would say, oh, they're not deserving. We know the committee loves the SEC. We've seen this time and time again. We know ESPN's putting on the production. I don't think it's a conspiracy. I don't think it's all about the money for the SEC, because if it was, then both Georgia and Alabama get it.
Yeah.
Again, it's not a popular decision. I don't hate Alabama being in. I think Florida State deserved it more. I think they got a little screwed over. I do. But I can understand why the committee went with Alabama. I think it makes for an intriguing matchup between Michigan and Alabama.
Well, I did win a little something, a little Betty. Big Mike up at Copa. I'm coming to see you tonight, my boy. Yeah, I almost forgot about that. You reminded me. I'm coming to get that moolah, that money. I want that money. I tried to tell him. I told him, but go ahead.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
5348 says, if Georgia would have won, would Texas have gotten in, or would they have gone with the 4 undefeated? They go with the 4 undefeated. Probably.
Yeah.
Now, Florida State playing a close game, Texas winning in a blowout. I still think Texas would have gotten in because everyone's healthy and available. It's not fair to the other guys on that roster to hold Jordan Travis's injury and Rodemaker's concussion against the rest of those guys that are putting in the work, that are playing hard. That defense has really stepped up since Jordan Travis has been out. But you can again understand quarterbacks sell. Jordan Travis sells.
Sexy.
Amen.
Quarterbacks is sexy. And if you don't got one, that's what they were watching. I mean, I'm telling you, I bet out of all the games that the committee was watching, I bet they were most watching the doggone Florida State Louisville game. I bet their eyes were glued to that, trying to see how that was going to go. Shout out on the stream to Scott. No, shouldn't cry too hard. Congrats, you got to play Georgia. Good luck with that. No, so look, real talk. That's what I was saying. I thought it was going to be ugly if they would have ended up staying and have to face a Michigan team. I love their defense, but boy, oh boy, it would have been like the number 1 seed, whoever the number 1 seed is, to me, would have had a walk to the championship game. Unless they just totally dropped the ball, and I mean literally Nebraska style. 4 turnovers in a game, and you come up short that way. Like, that's the only way I could see it. Like, just in a normal transition of a game, I don't think Florida State could have held up against anybody that's in the college football playoff right now. But we're going to see.
And that in mind, remember, it's an entertainment product, right? Yes, Florida State deserved to be in the playoff. They did. But the committee's job is to reward the deserving teams, but also to put out an entertaining product.
Yeah.
Right? To me, I tweeted this at Austin_Orman. I have a poll up. Go vote on that. Which team do you hate the most? Who are you rooting against the most? We'll get to that tomorrow on the show here, because I'm just curious on the pulse of Husker Nation. The committee, the television executives, care less about getting it right or wrong. They care that we're arguing about it.
Yeah.
They care about the attention.
Yeah.
And guess what? We're part of the problem by giving it to them.
Yeah.
But open up your eyes, sheeple.
Yeah. Yeah, I have to agree with it. And then, look, one other thing I want to throw out real quick, because I like this part that Jim Philippi on the YouTube stream threw out. Because I don't know much about him, but maybe you do, and maybe others do. But Jalen Kitna, everybody's familiar with John Kitna, who is, was a solid quarterback in the league, played, I think, some good years for Cincinnati over the year, even though they were bad teams, but kind of made them, moderate at times. But his son's a redshirt freshman. I don't know where he's at. He was
at Florida.
He was at Florida. Is that the type of player that Nebraska would be looking at? I'm talking about long term. Now, reminder, we're looking for some type of players like that to also bring in to do the development phase. I still think the quarterback coach is a necessity at Nebraska for that particular purpose. And I'm not necessarily Kitna as the one, but I'm saying players like Kitna. And that's the discussion I wanted to quickly talk about, because I still think you need to bring in someone like this, and you need to still bring in someone. Obviously, it's got to be a junior, because I don't think, Rule is sold on the one and done.
I'm with you. Yeah, I think that's the type of guy. Sam Leavitt is a name we're hearing bouncing around more and more. I do think Nebraska could afford to take 2 quarterbacks out of the portal. If they do go get kind of a stopgap guy, I wouldn't read as much into that as I would the younger guy, right? I would read more into the Chubba Purdy to their Casey Thompson.
Yeah.
The second guy. That's the guy they probably want to build around, or give that shot a little more long term. That's how I would read Nebraska taking 2. If they just go get one and it's a young guy, I think it's because he's on the same developmental track and timeline as the rest of the guys that this coaching staff is excited about on the offensive side of the ball.
Okay. Well said. Now, look, this is a good controversial comment here, and you know who it comes from. My boy, my dog, Mississippi Mud Dog, the MMD. He says, if somehow Florida State does beat Georgia and Michigan, this is going to take a lot. Michigan and Washington both gets bounced out of the semifinal. Is there a chance that the AP poll recognizes FSU as a champ? Can you still be split up now that there is a playoff, or can it still be split now that there's a playoff?
I assume it can still be split. I just don't think it would happen.
Yeah.
I think most people now, because remember, we're not referencing the AP poll anymore. When we bring up the rankings after, what is that? The first show in early November, mid-November. After that, it's not about the AP poll anymore. After those first college football playoff rankings are released, those are the rankings of record. So no, it's hard to split one ranking because the AP and the coaches poll essentially don't matter anymore. If Florida State's going to claim a national championship, number one, it's hard to do because you're playing Georgia, who didn't even get in the field, right? Neither did you. Maybe you should be, but you're going to claim it UCF style. You're going to point to, the Colley matrix over here. The Sagarin ratings over here have us, at number one. You claim that national championship. People won't recognize it. No one recognizes UCF's
they don't
win.
recognize the Lakers in the bubble.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just
fraudulent championship. Fraudulent championship. So I suppose it's possible. I don't think that's how it works anymore, though. I could be mistaken. If you have any more insight on that, let me know. Let's finish out with this, Strick. Someone brought up the video of Michigan, the football team, watching the reveal as a team. Bama gets its name called to that number 4 spot. You just kind of see the air leave the room. It reminded me of the finals with LeBron and Kawhi.
Yeah.
Okay, let's not pretend like Michigan has it easy. And that is kind of what worries me. Is Bama going to backdoor their way to this national championship?
That's what's crazy.
Are they going to backdoor their
this.
way to this, Stricky?
That is some. No. So the question becomes this, though, Austin: is Milroe the guy to do it? You trusting Milroe against top now? So here, I think it's a matchup issue. I think if Alabama faces like Washington, I think it just becomes whether Penix can hold up. Against. I think one of their receivers is very capable, but I think defensively they would scheme him. Is it Odunze? Yeah. Him, but then against Tennessee, against Texas, I like that matchup again. I like that rematch.
Yeah, you do?
I like that.
Okay.
I would like that. Matter of fact, I wouldn't mind seeing it. I wouldn't mind seeing it. Because I think Alabama's run defense outside of Auburn gashing them the way that they did, I think they'll try to fill that up. I think they're going to force McNamara to make plays. McCarthy. Gosh darn it.
I'll say
I
this.
keep getting him next.
Yeah.
McCarthy. I think they're gonna force him to make plays.
I trust Milroe more than I trust Tommy Rees.
Agreed.
That's all I'm going to say.
Agreed.
Let's get to Brian Munson. Some interesting questions to throw Brian's way on the recruiting front. Nebraska gains a commit and loses one since the last time we talked to Brian. We'll get into that. A couple other names to throw out there. We'll get his opinion on the transfer portal, on the college football playoff, all sorts of stuff with our recruiting insider, Brian Munson of Husker Online next.
Concrete Industries, a Nebco company, has immediate job openings for precast production laborers. Concrete Industries offers great pay, health benefits, 401k, a wellness program, holidays, and paid time off. Apply today to earn a starting pay of $20 per hour and a $1,500 hiring bonus. Concrete Industries is hiring all experience levels and offers on-the-job training. Start your career today as a precast production laborer. Visit concreteindustries.com.
Action Plumbing, Heating, Air, and Electric is the call I make when I have a need for plumbing services. Whether it's for my home or office, if I need a repair to a water heater, softener, or even my garbage disposal, I know I can count on Action to help. In one simple call, their amazing customer service team promptly schedules a service call, often getting to my needs within a day. Action delivers honest, quality services we can count on. To learn more, visit actionlincoln.com.
Don't be surprised if your kids seem bored when they have some time off from school. I'm Jenny Benson, president of the Nebraska State Education Association. While kids may not miss the confinement of the classroom, they may miss the routine of the school day. Help them add some structure to those free days by planning special projects. Rearrange a bedroom, plan a family meal, increase that batting average, and keep it fun.
Sponsored by the Nebraska State Education Association, aired by the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Become a member of the YMCA today and enjoy access to all 4 Lincoln locations. Free group fitness classes along with member pricing for the whole family on youth programs such as swimming, dance, and basketball. The YMCA even offers free health assessments to kickstart your workout. Start the new year off right as a member of the YMCA and enjoy no initiation fees through the end of the month. For a list of locations and to join, visit ymcalincoln.org. The YMCA, for a better us.
Your home is your empire. Protect it with Empire Fence. Get a free instant quote with the online estimating tool at empire-fence.com. See an upfront estimate with no hidden fees. An Empire Fence can provide privacy and improve the appearance of your home. Keep kids and pets in or out of your yard. Increase security and add value to your property. Visit empire-fence.com now to view the stylish and maintenance-free possibilities for your home and get a free instant online quote. Let Empire Fence protect your empire.
At Jimmy John's, we don't make sandwiches. We make the sandwich of sandwiches. We use fresh veggies because we don't hate salads. We just feel bad for them. We make our sandwiches exactly how you want because you're the one who's eating it. And we bake bread all day, every day because stale bread isn't bread. It's croutons. Sandwich history is written by the victors. Good thing we have legible handwriting. Jimmy John's, the sandwich of sandwiches. Order pickup or delivery on the app.
You don't think about your roof very often, but you should never take it for granted. Roofing Service Company takes every measure to provide you with the highest quality roofing solution. Whether it's a new roof installation, roof repair, or a re-roofing project, their overall goal is to provide you with a pleasant experience and a long-lasting roof. If you have a need for siding or gutters, they're your place too. Visit roofingservicecompany.com for more info today.
Hey, it's Sean Callahan, and football season is here, and there is one place that has all the games, plus great food and beer specials. Tanner's Bar and Grill at 30th and Yankee Hill. Whether it's Thursday night football, college football Saturdays, NFL Sundays, or Monday night football, there's a great view of the game from any seat with different food and drink specials every night. Try the Blue Ribbon Reuben Sandwich or the Prime Rib French Dip or any of their famous chicken lips. That's Tanner's Bar and Grill at 30th and Yankee Hill.
Landmark Implement, your local John Deere dealer, invites you to attend our upcoming Parts and Service Expo events. It's the best time to buy parts all year. Take advantage of specials December 6th through the 15th with additional savings the day of your local expo. Find savings on oil and filters, gifts for under the tree, and most pre-ordered John Deere parts. Visit with our trained and certified technicians and sign up for our service specials. Don't miss out. It only comes around once a year at your local Landmark Implement. Visit landmarkimp.com/events for a complete schedule of our expo events and experience the Landmark difference.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Your Lincoln forecast for today, expecting a little patchy fog early this morning. Otherwise, partly sunny skies are expected throughout the day. We'll see a high of around 50. Tonight, a chance of sprinkles possible early, then partly cloudy skies with a low around 31. Tomorrow, see mainly sunny skies and a high of around 45. I'm meteorologist Kyle Clicker from 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Now back to On the Block with Strick and Austin on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Back with Strick and Austin. We go to our VIP line, brought to you by Allo Fiber, where they understand the importance of exceptional service with local heart. We welcome in Brian Munson. He's our recruiting insider with Husker Online, part of the On3 network. Brian, hour-long Nebraskan nightmare, maybe a nightmare for you too, is finally over. Grant Brix is committed. You can stop being asked about it. How does it feel?
Yes, it finally has come to a close, man. What are we ever going to do with, well, I tell you what, there's still a question around Grant Brix, though, whether or not he is going to enroll early, so that is still something that he is sorting through. I mean, he has done the planning. He has, I think usually it's like a senior English credit that always becomes a problem, come December, because they typically would be in English in the spring semester. So he has done the class, but it just, Logan's just such a small town, and Logan Magnolia High School is, he has this, kind of a commitment to school, and it's a tight group of kids that have lived their lives all together, and they all kind of know it's, coming to an end, and his sooner than the others, and he's going down to Lincoln. And I think he just kind of feels, like there's a part of him that wants to kind of see it through and go do track and be with his friends for the final semester, and then move on to Lincoln in June. So we'll see what happens. That's still to be determined though right now.
So, Brian, there have been a lot of highly touted offensive line prospects to come to Lincoln. The two on the team still that come to mind for me are Turner Corcoran and Bryce Benhart, both of whom got thrust into action really early, took their lumps early. Bryce Benhart was better this year. Corcoran was okay before he got hurt. Does Bricks enrolling early or coming in June change his ability to get on the field early, or is he in a situation that you think Nebraska can be patient with him and not rush him like others in recent memory?
I think that coming in January would absolutely impact him to see the field potentially and possibly take him out of some consideration. There are a lot of things I love about Grant Bricks on film, and some of those things are a little bit more interior line specific versus, playing offensive tackle, although Nebraska is basically open to him playing either. I think Grant would really severely, kind of handicap or hamstring himself in some way by not having that spring. I mean, the spring is such an amazing time to, get your body in there, figure out what a Division I weight room is supposed to be like, what that winter conditioning program is supposed to be like, and then get ready for spring, and then see it dialed up a notch. He has to take such a tremendous jump of competition from where he plays at in Iowa, that high school, to Big Ten football. He needs to start seeing it right away. Now, I'm not telling you, and we're going to get a nice little glimpse of that when he goes and plays in the All-American game. And I think that several other guys have kind of stepped up before in the past, and you could see them, like the wheels have had to turn very, very quickly. They played, Midwest football, and then they're playing against all these SEC, commitments and stuff like that. And the speed of the game was just higher, and it was faster. And I think that Grant's going to get a nice view of that. And it'll be very interesting to see, though, what he ends up doing. But I think he does take himself out of some consideration, I think, from playing early if he decides to stick, stay in high school. And I think I'd add another guy to that list too that you'd mentioned before. Although I did agree with Benhart and Corcoran, I have to throw in Prohaska a little bit because Prohaska, he got elevated very, very quickly into the starting lineup in his career. Again, injuries playing a big factor there for him.
When you look at evaluating Grant Bricks' tape here, Brian, I'll ask it for you, and then also maybe you have an insight on how the industry generally does it, if it's any different. For a guy coming from, like you said, Logan Magnolia High School, taking the jump from facing defensive ends raised in Iowa versus the SEC caliber ones you'll see in the All-American game, how do you judge Grant Bricks as a prospect? Is it on measurables? Is it on tape? How do you weigh those when you judge a prospect like him on the offensive line?
Yeah, you're looking for a guy that obviously has those measurables, that he has that, that height, that weight. You've got to check a box. Division I guys are different. And what I mean by that is that you're not going to find too often the players that don't have like that height to be at that position. 6'2" offensive tackles, they don't exist. You got them playing in high school football today. And some of those guys can go on to play Division II football, if they're going to play offensive tackle. But sometimes you just overlooked when you're not talking about playing the position that basically you would have to play, or you're being touted to play at the Division I level. So you got to check those boxes first. So he's got the height, he's got the speed, he's a great athlete. He's also, doing track and field. His film, when it comes to his film, this is the part here where I think that he really stands out the most. A lot of times when you deal with that lower competition level, you don't need to be anything much more than just a big guy. You can get away. You can get away with it. You can get away with just being a big guy, being monolithic, and just taking up space. Grant, on the other hand, you see everything kind of come into play. You see his aggressiveness. You see his get off on the football. You see this road grader style of run blocker. The athleticism jumps off the tape. So there, and you know, he's a knee bender. He's not a waist bender. And those are some things also, like when it comes down to technique and style, and you know, whether or not he's just at the level he's playing at, although it's not the highest of levels of high school football, is he just plainly dominant? And the answer to that question is yes. So those are the things you would have to look at when it comes to his overall evaluation. And obviously you'd have to take a look at Grant Brix and go, his best days of playing football are still ahead of him. Wherever he decided to go to school, he was going to get that opportunity, and he was going to have to go there and really put in some work and get used to the speed of the game. That's the biggest knock against him as he kind of enters into that college football, you know, part of his career.
Brian, is it a more impactful addition for Nebraska to get Grant Brix, or is the subtraction of Carlin Jones's commitment more impactful for Nebraska football?
Ooh, buddy, I tell you what, I've got a real soft spot for Carlin Jones. I think I've always mentioned it to you that I just appreciated his film, even going back to when he was lining up his official visit in June and putting his film on. It was just, wow. He was so incredibly disruptive, and he could do it from inside. He could do it from outside. He was a very good athlete. He had the one-on-one pass rush skills, you know, to basically be disruptive from anywhere up and down the defensive line. And Nebraska let him know that too. Like, they saw him as a 3, they saw him as a 4, they saw him as a 5. So he's playing odd front, he's playing even front, he's playing inside, he's playing outside. He was just this, like I've said before on Tunnel Talk, it's like he was like this Swiss Army knife of defensive linemen. There was just this real versatility to him. Now, that being said, while I love me some Carlin Jones and checking out his film and seeing what he does, I still put Brix in front. And the reason why I do that is just because the tackle position is so incredibly important to what Nebraska needs to do with this class. And you know, you got Taumua, the Preston Taumua, that had originally been talking about getting Nebraska early, who has now been asked by the Nebraska to stay in Hawaii for another semester, get his academics in order to make sure he can get to Nebraska in June. So with that being said, Brix becomes way more valuable, but I had him even more valuable in the first place just because I think tackle is just such a huge part of what this class needed to have. Not saying that not having, you know, like not having, like if you had Carlin Jones, that it wouldn't have been valuable as well. I just feel like Nebraska has done some good things there. You got Titus Stay, you get Nash, you got Van Poppel, who had a heck of a season. I think that there's some young bodies there. I think there's some guys, obviously with the senior leadership stuff. Adding Jones to that, I think it would have been awesome. I just feel like Nebraska needed that one kind of guy you could circle and say, there's a multi-year starter at offensive tackle, and I think Grant Brix can be that guy.
We're talking with Brian Munson of Husker Online here on our Allo VIP line. Check out his work, huskeronline.com, part of the On3 network. With Carlin Jones, Brian, is this grades? Is it he's just reopening his commitment and looking other places? What led him to decommit from Nebraska?
Well, I mean, completely and totally disruptively, the Ohio State offer found its way to number one. Sure. I think that got him, you know, thinking about, well, maybe I did shut this thing down, and if I need to go ahead and back off, you know, if I need to go take a look around, I guess I could go ahead and take a look around. And I think Ohio State started playing the game with him a little bit too. I mean, you know, Bay City, I think they won that first round playoff game, maybe even a second round, and they had to kind of push an official visit date. Then it became, well, maybe I push this out until January. The problem with that, or till February, the problem with that for Nebraska is if you've got a guy like that on the hook, I think the likelihood that he ends up a Husker is basically zero. I think at that point right there, you're opening it up to this other window, and you've seen like just this incredible amount of attention that he's gotten since. I mean, Ohio State is one, like what he got USC the other day. I mean, he's picked up some big offers. So I think what it really came down to was This was a guy that I think with one school wanting to take a little bit of a deeper dive and taking a closer look, I think Nebraska would have understood. Now you're saying you want to take multiple official visits and you want to go ahead and move out your signing date, from December to February. I just don't think Nebraska knew at the end of the rainbow that was something they could go ahead and count on. And they've got, 26 guys in the class. It's like 6 more guys than I thought they were going to end up taking. They're pretty much full the way that it sits, and you still have like Amari Sanders kind of hanging out there. That's going to be a signing day, announcement kind of guy that Nebraska's in a really good position to get. And there really isn't a lot of great places that Nebraska could have gone to basically try to fill a void, of missing on Carlin Jones. That was just not ever going to happen. So I think it was just coming down to the likelihood that they were going to get him was really not, the chances weren't very good at that.
Brian, I know we mentioned this over the summer, but I think it bears repeating in this circumstance. It's both a testament to Nebraska's coaching staff that they were in earlier on Carlin Jones, to their credit, but also for Nebraska to take that next step. The coaching staff can learn and grow. The program can get better to where they close on an early commitment like this, correct?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, look, the evaluation process that Nebraska is using for guys like Jones and Kewan Lacey and being out in front of those guys, in front of the other teams nationally to go ahead and, extend the offer and bringing them in June and get them in the boat. The problem is that those guys go off, they have amazing senior years. They're a few hundred miles, further away from Nebraska. They're not as tied to it geographically as what some other guys would be in the state or in the radius, a little bit, like I said, just in that radius, a little bit closer to Lincoln. And they're much more approachable. There's more of a likelihood the further you get away from Lincoln about approaching a commitment to say, hey, you want to think about, if you're thinking about going to Lincoln, you need to think about coming to Columbus. You need to think about coming to Los Angeles. Heck, I think that Carlin was actually in Austin the other day. And I think that just kind of, it's an easier to approach kind of thing. And Nebraska just needs to kind of put together, a run of successful seasons to where, teams like that won't be able to challenge Nebraska. They won't be able to come back and say, take advantage of a kid that's a couple hundred miles further away than the other recruits or commitments to Nebraska. So they're just vulnerable. There's a vulnerability when it comes to getting a guy like that in the class and when they go ahead and have an amazing senior year. But again, speaks to the credit to the coaching staff to kind of see it, and then they back it up, and all of a sudden more people start to take notice of it.
Brian, you mentioned, having success, sustaining it year after year. A program that's done that here in Nebraska at the high school level is Omaha Westside. And I bring them up because there's been, I think, some clamoring is the best way to describe it among our text line and some other of avenues about Anthony Rizak, the quarterback for Westside after they just won the state championship game. I want your insight on Anthony Rizak, who's walking on at Notre Dame. There were plenty of people saying that Nebraska should go after him, and it's not Daniel Kalen that's the guy. Brian, from my vantage point, Daniel Kalen's the better quarterback prospect. Am I right? Am I wrong? How do you view Kalen and Rizak?
I see Kalen as a better quarterback prospect. I see Rizak as a better overall athlete and a possibility of playing other positions at the next level. And I think that plays very well, basically into going to college eyes open and not, not being so dialed in like what Kalen potentially is. Because look at Kalen. Look, Kalen right now is coming into a room that's got its problems, right? Mm-hmm. But Nebraska has already met with at least one portal quarterback. You can imagine they're going to meet with plenty more portal quarterbacks. There's a lot of rumors on the street. Nebraska could be in the market for multiple portal quarterbacks to come in, in January. So as Daniel Kalen kind of sits there and says, well, I'm the better quarterback prospect, out of everyone, out of the two of us, me and Rizak. But the problem is that Rizak can play wide receiver. He could play safety. He could grow into playing a linebacker. He's undoubtedly could undoubtedly have some sort of a role in special teams. There's a lot of things, obviously, that kind of goes along with having that athleticism. Kalen gets the nod quarterback wise. I mean, I think that he had some things that he did well at Elite 11. I don't think it really, in turn, had the type of success on the field for Bellevue West that other people were kind of looking forward to. And I think it just has to go back to the juggernaut of that Westside was this year. I mean, they wiped everybody out, and they were just loaded on all sides of the football, and big parts to do with Rezak and the Rezaks and Christian Jones and Caleb Benning and just a ton of guys on that team that really, when you put them all together, it was a fantastic group of players this year.
So I'll finish with this, Brian, on that similar vein. Did Nebraska make the right decision in not going after Anthony Rezak if he wants to be a quarterback, or was he open to a position switch and Nebraska dropped the ball by not even getting him to walk on?
And Nebraska's got a walk-on quarterback from Blair, and his mind is my mind is just slipping on what his name is right now. I think that obviously when you start talking about putting together, walk-on classes, you're looking for guys that have great athleticism, guys that are great football players, guys that necessarily it's a chance game that you could kind of put something in front of them and say, you could play quarterback and you could sit here for 3 years and never have your name called. And we have the conversation then, and you decide you're going to go ahead and move at that point and go play for Kearney or Wayne State or whatever the case may be. Or we could put you in a position to get you on the depth chart right now if you want to go play safety, or you want to go play wide receiver, or we're looking for a guy that can go play the nickel, or something like that. It just kind of depends on what you're kind of looking for in the room and in the roles of the players of the class. So I'm kind of skirting around the answering your direct question. Was Rezak worthy of a preferred walk-on spot in Nebraska's class? I would have to say yes. And the reason why I would give him the nod was because he was versatile and because he was athletic. And I think that it's one of those, and I don't know if that would have been enough to get him because he didn't technically have that opportunity. But yeah, I think Nebraska may think about that later on down the line about how they could have used another walk-on quarterback in the class, a guy that could have played another spot if they needed to move it.
It's Brian Munson of Husker Online with us here on our Allo VIP line. Brian, we threw some tough ones at you today. Thanks for answering them as straight up and honest as you could. Like
Real quick,
just
Brian.
kidding. Stricky's got one.
Just real quick. Would you, if you're thinking at the next level, would you look at Rezak? Now, look, I'm not saying he's him, but would you look at him like a Taysom Hill?
Could be. I mean, that speaks to the versatility and the athleticism that he has. He and his brother. I mean, those are guys that you can see on either side of the football.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
And either absolutely penciled into the spot where they played in at high school or playing another spot. And I think it's also a guy that you say, you know what, we could come back to playing quarterback, but tomorrow, I could use help at tight end because I need this kind of guy. I need to be able to have a guy that can do this, or I need a guy that can play this wide receiver spot. I think that also could be another pitch that you could have used to kind of sell him on the opportunity in the Lincoln.
Yeah.
Okay. That's great. Sorry to cut you off, Stricky. Brian, appreciate the time as always. Take care, my friend. We'll talk with you next week.
Be good, guys. We'll see you.
There he is on our Allo VIP line, Allo Fiber, where they understand the importance of exceptional service with local heart. Stricky, I'm glad you went over me there. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No,
that's a great question.
Yeah.
That sales pitch. How do you get the next one?
Yeah, and that's kind of the way I wanted to view it. I wanted to kind of get just in my head an idea of the type of athlete. I mean, there's a few others that you can throw out, but he's one of the ones that I thought has quarterback abilities, but also could really do some other things in some versatile ways as far as on either side of the ball. I thought maybe they have that kind of talent.
Erick Strickland to my left. I'm Austin Norman. Jay Foreman waiting next door. We'll cross it over, get set up for Old School next. At Fairway Meat Market, your family. And as part of the family, they want to save you money on your meat and groceries. The holidays are here, and Fairway has everything you need for charcuterie boards, shrimp trays, party platters, wine, beer, spirits, and more. Plus, custom fresh cuts on USDA choice or prime grade beef, all-natural pork, fresh chicken, and seafood. Your holiday meals start at Fairway Meat Market in the Rockledge Square Shopping Center just south of 84th and Van Dorn.
Where will your path take you, traveler? To seek fortune in a new career, or on a journey to distant lands for a well-deserved vacation? Wherever you go, one distraction could spell disaster. You can change your fate, adventurer. Don't drive distracted. Paid for by the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
At Jimmy John's, we don't make sandwiches. We make the sandwich of sandwiches. We use fresh veggies because we don't hate salads. We just feel bad for them. We make our sandwiches exactly how you want because you're the one who's eating it. And we bake bread all day, every day because stale bread isn't bread. It's croutons. Sandwich history is written by the victors. Good thing we have legible handwriting. Jimmy John's, the sandwich of sandwiches. Order pickup or delivery on the app.
Whether you're booking a trip to Lincoln for a football game or a volleyball weekend, the Scarlet Hotel at Innovation Campus is the place for you. The Scarlet Hotel is special on many levels, from the delicious Well and Good restaurant on the main floor to the coolest rooftop patio bar in Lincoln, the Barred Owl, on the top floor of the hotel with great views of the city and one of the coolest drink menus. Book your stay or book a staycation today at scarlethotelnebraska.com.
At Union Bank, people don't have your money. Your money has people. First home people, investment people, people who answer the phone and your chats. Dream car people, dream retirement people, driving your dream car in your dream retirement people. Small business people, credit card people, and all the other people you need. At Union Bank, our people help you do more than you dreamed possible. So stop in and say hello. We can't wait to see you. Union Bank and Trust. Member FDIC.
Don't be surprised if your kids seem bored when they have some time off from school. I'm Jenny Benson, president of the Nebraska State Education Association. While kids may not miss the confinement of the classroom, they may miss the routine of the school day. Help them add some structure to those free days by planning special projects. Rearrange a bedroom, plan a family meal, increase that batting average, and keep it fun.
Sponsored by the Nebraska State Education Association, aired by the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Your home is your empire. Protect it with Empire Fence. Get a free instant quote with the online estimating tool at empire-fence.com. See an upfront estimate with no hidden fees. An Empire Fence can provide privacy and improve the appearance of your home. Keep kids and pets in or out of your yard. Increase security and add value to your property. Visit empire-fence.com now to view the stylish and maintenance-free possibilities for your home and get a free instant online quote. Let Empire Fence protect your empire.
Your Christmas list changes a lot as you get older. Dreams of video games, remote control cars, and baseball gloves turn into dreams of shoes. You know, practical things. Brown Shoe Fit is the king of shoes in Lincoln, with brands like Sorel, UGG, Brooks, Hoka, and more to make you fashionable and comfortable. Grab a new Ridge wallet or buy 3, get 1 free on Smart Wool socks for the ultimate stocking stuffer. And don't forget a reliable gift card for that hard-to-buy person in your life. Brown Shoe Fit at 66th and Q in Lincoln.
Constructors Inc., a Nebco company, is now hiring heavy equipment mechanics to maintain fleet equipment and vehicle operations. Constructors offers mechanics a competitive salary, 4-day work weeks with overtime options, a $5,000 hiring bonus, a tool allowance, and great benefits. Join the crew today and be a part of Nebraska's oldest paving company dating back to 1908. Apply today for their mechanic positions. Visit constructorslincoln.com.
Now back to On the Block with Strick and Austin on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
I don't play cards, so my mistake on this analogy here. It's not a full house because there's not 5, but 4 of us.
Yeah, we got 3 of a kind over here.
You do got 3 of a kind. I'm the odd man out. We got Strick.
Yeah,
we got
we cut up today.
Kenny Wilhite.
Oh, damn.
That's a solid head. Kate Sack.
What's up? What's up?
What up, boy?
Did y'all coordinate outfits?
When I walked in, I almost took my jacket off because I saw what he had.
Who wore it first?
He did.
I wear it every day. I wear
before,
the same thing every day.
You do.
I hope you wash.
I do.
Right.
I got a rotation, man. It's all good.
Oh, okay, you got to rotate. Jay Feezy, what up, boy?
What's happening?
Hey, listen. It was ugly like yesterday, but, you know.
Yeah.
You want to talk about it?
Yeah, man. I think.
What was your initial thought?
I think, here's the thing about the new age thing of basketball, right? Everybody's trying to play positionless basketball. You know what I'm saying? Point forwards and everything. But let me tell you something. This is just my opinion. You can say you play positionless basketball, but you still got to have a point guard.
Mm-hmm. You got to have roles.
You got to have a point guard.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't have a point guard, I don't care what you do. And that's the difference. My man that looked like a dude checking in, he check your library card to come in for Creighton. He played point guard like no other.
Yes, he did.
He controlled the tempo.
Facts.
He got handles, and he gonna hit the wide open three.
Mm-hmm.
And he going and every pass that he hit, I mean, he knew exactly where he was going with that pass.
Mm-hmm.
So even if Nebraska was good on their rotation, he was getting it there just like a second too early or a second before they could adjust.
On a dime, too.
On a dime.
Mm-hmm.
On time, on target. You know what that game reminded me of? Is last year when they went up to Michigan State. And they actually played good defense rotation, but Michigan State was just on.
Yeah.
And that's what it was. And Nebraska, I felt like, I think some of the new guys weren't used to that type of.
I think the atmosphere was huge
to some of them.
I think they looked around and was like, wait a minute.
There was a lot of watching.
There was a lot of watching.
No.
Yeah.
I can't agree with that. There's no way.
What you mean? Did you not see them?
You
They were
watch?
looking like they were looking at the lights.
They looked like they was stuck. They were stuck in same. Like this is one of the things I said. I said, first of all, Shireman ain't getting nothing off. Like, I'm in his jockey strap. Like, you are not getting nothing off. You putting everything on the ground and I'm at you. There's no way I'm giving you that kind of space. It was very disappointing for me, especially at home. Like, they looked like they was in sand trap. They were standing around gawking and eyeing.
To quote Charles Barkley, I'm going to give him one hard one. He hit those three.
Yeah.
The next one, he's going to feel it.
I think
he's
also,
not going to continue to just.
Yeah.
No, I'm going to give him. I'm going to give him one hard.
No, bro. No.
Yeah, I'm going
this
right
ain't gonna
outside
be
your
that
head.
kind of
Right?
not on me.
You had 5 guys collapse in the lane.
Yeah.
And leave him. I'm not leaving him.
Man, I couldn't believe it.
No, that's what I'm saying. But see, that stuff happens.
What did I almost do? Real quick.
Go ahead.
What did I almost do when he left Shireman in the corner that one time?
You almost did a number of things. You almost threw your plate. You almost threw my plate. You almost spilled my drink. Almost flipped the table. Almost walked your butt out of there.
You was
in
about
the
to
first
leave?
half.
I was like,
Yeah.
like that. I was heated.
I think that sometimes when you are in the moment, and you see this sometimes, you saw this sometimes with Nebraska football team for guys that is one thing I'm telling you, Kenny will tell you, you know this.
Yeah.
It's one thing to think that you like tough or you about it. It is. It's another thing when you out there and looking at some people that bite back at you.
That's
and
a
if
fact.
you ain't, I'm telling you, there's a lot of dudes around here that do a lot of woofing.
Mhm.
Like, I'm not here with the woofing. I'm not here to play games. Right.
Yeah.
And so sometimes if you're in that moment and you're kind of like the atmosphere was electric, right? So you can get caught out. You could be a step too slow. You could actually collapse the lane one or two steps too much to the left or right. And next thing you know, they get that pass out. Then you're like, oh, where I need to go. It's already there. Next thing you know, in your
Eyeball
eye.
sandwich.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And then once you do that, then Kenny's like, well, maybe I need to rotate more. Then you get it back. Boom. The librarian hits you. Then here's the worst part. Miller, the starter, had zeros across the thing. What he start the second half would do? Left hand three in your eye. So then he got started.
And then Kalkbrenner starts getting in the lane for dunking on your head.
Right. And then number 5 came out, Carabello, the Italian stallion. He started hitting.
Mm-hmm.
Then everybody started hitting. Then big man in the middle started working out.
Yeah.
That's what happened.
He was losing stuff in there too. But that's the thing. One of the things I noticed, and then we'll move on because
we got pause.
We got
Station ID.
pause.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet. KNTK FM Firth. 93.7 The Ticket.
Hey, hold on right now. Austin, you official. You know what I'm saying? He official. Yeah, he did.
He
did.
no longer the new guy.
Things that change.
Are we 4 of a kind now?
Yeah. You there.
Yeah.
You got your honorary. You in there.
So
here, get you some chitlins. Then you're going to be really in there. We can switch the last name.
Don't do it, Austin.
The difference was this. They had a game plan based on the defense that Nebraska was playing. You guys would understand that from football. There's different things that you would do on the, whether it's schemed up, because of what they have, there's different ways you would play. They knew what Nebraska was going to do on rotations, what they were going to do on double teams. They're downing the ball, and all they did was drive to pass. Not once was they driving to lay the ball up, shoot floaters. They was driving to find someone, and Nebraska never adjusted to that. All the adjustment in that situation, y'all, is hard show out.
Yes.
I'm in. I'm making you think I'm there, but I'm really
going
out
back
here.
Yep.
That's that
They
shit.
never made the adjustment. It was continue whoop, and then they knew where they was going whoop, and you was too late. Bow.
And even when they did recover to the guy he threw it to, that
It was
ball
out,
moved.
but it was too late.
That ball
That
moved to the
offense-
next man and then moved to the next man.
I call that offense Sherman. Well, we in the side. I call Sherman Williams. I got killed it. Let's kill the paint.
Mm-hmm.
I'm serious. That's why we call
That's what Nebraska
like when I'm
didn't do.
coaching. When I say Sherman Williams, everybody don't know what it means. That's the paint. The paint company kill the paint.
Mm-hmm.
Straight up, kill the paint because they were hitting them with baseball passes to the other
Corner,
and then hitting them with the wraparound to the. I call it the pocket. And then once you rotate, boom, boom, boom. You know, and also, I mean, I was thinking about.
I'm back at the paint too.
Yeah, right.
Like they wasn't just getting the passes and letting it fly all the time. They was right back into the paint.
It was almost like they were systematically trying to pass it closer to the rim. So if the first pass was baseline, they wanted to get in the middle to the free throw line and then work their way back down. And it was like magic. You know, the one thing I will say though, Creighton played Nebraska at the right time.
Yes.
Because they're still trying to find out their roles. And I was talking about the point guard. I'm telling you, they have to find a way to get Jamarcus Lawrence going.
True.
What we talked about, Stricky.
Here's why.
That's what we talk about.
He can get down when he's on the receiving, then he can do his thing, and then he can hit the open three. It takes a while to learn how to really set the table. And see, here's the difference from last year. You had a kind of point forward, a do-it-all in Sam Griesel. So then that allowed him to just play free. It allowed Tamanaga to do his thing. It allowed Gary to get out on the break. Then you have a point forward, you know, anywhere from a power forward, small forward. I guess you could say Sam was a 2 and a 1 where he could get off the board and then control the pace and run the break. You're going to have to find somebody that's willing to do that, right? And then also be able to play off of the, you know, setting the table, or they're going to have to insert a guy that can actually play more of a point guard because it's
really Tamanaga, and that's who it is. You're right.
Right. You think
it's
so?
Really him.
And I was going to ask you, in your opinion,
it's really
is
him.
it Tamanaga or Williams?
It's Tamanaga.
Okay. You think
because he's the only one that can work that pick and roll and knows how to pick guys on his hip, knows how to get deep and still find guys, but they're trying to use him as a coin. Like if he to me, the way they're playing Tamanaga right now, they want him to go overseas.
Well, let me ask you this.
They want him to go back to Japan.
Okay, let me ask you this.
No, I'm being real.
There he is. There it is. But let me ask you, I know what you're saying, though,
Yeah,
right?
I know
You're kind of
that.
just accentuating what he already does. Let me ask you this. Would it wear a guy like Tamanaga out bringing the ball up, or would you like to have a Williams be that kind of 3 that can handle the rock? Because look,
I don't mind that.
Right, and then he gets it to Tamanaga, and then he kind of turns into the half-court point guard.
I don't mind that.
Yeah, so that's
to take the
you get what I'm saying?
I don't mind. I like what you're saying.
Because if they get against, you know, Indiana, they get against Purdue, and he's bringing it up. Them boys is physical, man.
So here's the
Michigan State on Sunday is that first big test.
Right.
Yes.
And you get worn out just bringing the ball up.
That is true. You do get worn out. Like that. That's why I tell people all the time. Like they used to be like, well, you know, how come you didn't really like dunk? I'm like, bro, you understand what it is trying to bring the ball up, handle the ball, then hound on defense? Bro, a layup is 2 and a dunk is 2.
Yes,
I'm
sir.
laying it up and going back to the other
Yes,
end
sir.
because I got to chase Allen Iverson, Stephon Marbury, John Stockton, Gary Payton, Mark Jackson. I got to go. That's
Duncan
every
sometimes.
night. Tim
Yeah,
Hardaway.
yeah.
I mean, it's like, shoot, man, let me lay this thing up and go on back down here and get my rest. But anyway, what I'm saying, I really do believe that you're onto something. I think that they need to figure out
Yeah, they get
how
that. I think
to
they'll
how
be
to
all
work
right.
that system because the next phase is Alec exposure. So they're exposing him right now. They're leaving him like, do your thing.
Yep.
And so they've got to figure out how to take advantage of people leaving him open, and get screens or handoffs or some form where they can get that.
Yeah, you could just
that guy to play
you could
some
do a
D.
straight up dribble handoff with a pick. Then they got to be able to hit that three.
A late one, yeah.
Yeah,
They gotta
that'd
be
be
able to-
Tamanaga right there, man.
Old School coming up next. Jay and Kenny in the building. I saw the fire in Jay's eyes. The Nebraska and Miami Fire combined. He's rejoicing that Florida State was left out of the playoff.
No, I'm rejoicing that Georgia's out of there.
We'll talk more
Roll
about that.
Tide.
Plenty more on
Roll,
Old
hey,
School.
Roll
First
Tide.
string
I hope my
of
boys
Boston.
listen.
It's
I hope
been
my
fun.
boys are listening.
We're
Roll
with you
Tide
tomorrow to
Yes,
get
sir.
Old School next.
Roll Tide.
Working at Continental in Lincoln isn't a job, it's a career. And right now, they've raised wages again, and they're hiring for production operators at $24.62 per hour, which grows to $28.97 per hour within 3 years. Skilled trade positions now start at $33.36 per hour, with opportunities to make more based on certifications. Continental also has salary jobs available and great benefits, plus medical and prescription costs at very low premiums. Dental, vision, and life insurance are offered at no premium cost to the associates, with increased bonuses and vacation for new hires. To learn more or apply, go to continentaljobs.com with keyword Lincoln. Come work at Continental today. Constructors Inc., a Nebco company, is now hiring heavy equipment mechanics to maintain fleet equipment and vehicle operations. Constructors offers mechanics a competitive salary, 4-day work weeks with overtime options, a $5,000 hiring bonus, a tool allowance, and great benefits. Join the crew today and be a part of Nebraska's oldest paving company dating back to 1908. Apply today for their mechanic positions. Visit constructorslincoln.com. Attention all Wings fans. 89-cent wings are back on Tuesdays at Buffalo Wings and Rings in Lincoln. Enjoy the best wings in town for boneless or traditional at a price that makes the whole family happy. And now at the Williamsburg Village Wings and Rings, you can enjoy $1.50 tall boys in Bud Light, Coors Light, Busch Light, and Michelob Ultra every day after 7 p.m. and all day on Sundays. Get to Wings and Rings today and make sure to stop by on Tuesdays for 89-cent wings.
Landmark Implement, your local John Deere dealer, invites you to attend our upcoming Parts and Service Expo events. It's the best time to buy parts all year. Take advantage of specials December 6th through the 15th with additional savings the day of your local expo. Find savings on oil and filters, gifts for under the tree, and most pre-ordered John Deere parts. Visit with our trained and certified technicians and sign up for our service specials. Don't miss out. It only comes around once a year.